All right, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night, September 29th, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, Real America's Voice. Glad you're in, everybody, wherever you're watching, whether it's on Real America's Voice or any of the social media. Glad you're a part of the show, as always. We appreciate all your 2 hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10, right here on Real America's Voice. Slick's going to do some sports. Delgado's got the greatest headlines in the world. Vinnie Mac is here tonight in the studio. He's going to have some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Slickster, how are you?
Doing good, Big D.
Have you seen the opening foursomes for tomorrow?
It looks unbelievable. Are you going to be there at 7 a.m. for tee-off?
I will not be there.
Why not?
Determination has been made. And I'll tell. Well, I'm not going to get into waste a lot of time on it, but I had the opportunity to. Me and Delgado's mutual friend had a ticket for me.
Really?
But I talked to one of my buddies who was there yesterday and said the way the course is roped off, it's impossible to walk and follow a group.
Oh, forget it.
The way it's roped.
That's not for you.
The way you have to cross and where you have to go to get to the next hole.
Right.
You couldn't follow a group. And that's what I'd want to do.
No,
I don't want to pick one place and just sit there.
That's not you.
And watch the four groups come through, because that takes about an hour and then you're done. What's the point of trudging over there, getting 3 hours to get in the place? And
it's going to be 3 days of great golf, though.
I'll be on the couch.
It'll be great golf.
And that's where it'll be.
All right.
So the opening pairs look, the opening foursome is fire.
Fire.
DeChambeau and JT. Come on.
They should kill it.
They've got to get it done.
Yeah.
Pressure's on already. That twosome has to get it done and get an early point. So
make a statement.
Exactly. Anything else coming up in sports that we should be looking forward to, Slickster?
Well, we got CNN talking about the New Orleans Saints and comparing the the Democratic Convention Party to the obviously CNN in New Orleans. So we got that, and we also got preseason hockey, and more importantly, Big D, Thursday Night Football, TNF.
All right, very good. Are we going to make a quick odds makers pick here before 8:20? Okay, very good. Well, I'd ask Delgado and Vin what's, first their days and what's the news is, but we all know what the news is. As a matter of fact, we've kind of changed what we were going to do in the opening segment here because of this news that hit right before we came live. And that, of course, is that one of the most corrupt people to ever hold office, that'd be one James Comey, was indicted tonight about an hour ago. Yes, very good. Thank you. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
I almost feel like we should be doing golf claps in honor of the Ryder Cup.
Golf clap. One count of making a false statement, which of course is a 1001 violation, and one count of obstruction of justice. Obviously, people who are calling for an orange jumpsuit and a mugshot, that would be after hopeful conviction, not yet. For the false statement, the max is 5 years in prison. Obstruction of justice is going to vary upwards of 10 years, though, depending on, obviously, the specifics. But there's a lot here to dig into. And when you look back at his 2020 congressional testimony, we played, as a matter of fact, we could probably play it again. There's many moments that you can look back on, and you know this little slime ball was lying out of his teeth. And as we said, the first time he ever shook President Trump's hand in the White House, we knew that he was already lying.
It was greasy.
And already laid the plans to try to hang treason around the president's neck. And we know what he did then. And we know the leaks that were coming. He leaked like a sieve, which, of course, is the main video is Chuck Grassley questioning him about strategic media leaks that he was doing in 16 and 17 that were then justifying the surveillance warrants on FISA, if you go back and remember. So all of this was happening. And you know who was smack dab in the middle of all of it, who has a bird's eye view to all of this and probably looks at this today and says, let's get going on building this case, is FBI Director Kash Patel. Because Kash Patel and Devin Nunes were solely almost responsible for trying to uncover a lot of this. And then, of course, Chuck Grassley and the committees who did their work. But Devin Nunes and Kash Patel did yeoman's work in uncovering a lot of this. So, there's some negatives here to talk about when you look at it as a whole, too. Eastern District of Virginia. When you think about them securing a conviction, just imagine a jury of lying Democrats to get on there and overpaid bureaucrats who work in Washington in that area. So that's the first negative you can look at. But, when you look at this is going to go for a very long time. And a conviction would absolutely be a huge bonus here, but the process is really the main consideration here. The process is going to be the punishment. They can indict all of them, look at everybody around him. That's what they should do. Make them go through absolutely months of litigation, because this is the new ground rules that the Democrats set. So now they're going to have to live by them. So whether it ends in conviction or not, none of us are going to know. But the process is going to uncover and disclose a lot of facts that Comey and the Democrats are not going to be happy about becoming public.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to be a huge part of the damage control here for them. Delgado, what did you think when you saw this?
Finally, though he was my second pick. My first pick was Bolton because he was the one that was, excuse me, he was the one that was rated. But you know what? I'm happy with the Comey. I'll take the Comey as my number one pick. Sure. Yeah. Let's go with it. Let's go, because this guy's been out front the whole time making the case that the basically, I think you said it best, Damon, earlier when you said treason. This guy was guilty of treason, leading the effort to overthrow a duly elected president. It started from the moment that he won the even before he won the campaign. They were in cahoots, and now we all know because, what do you call it? Kash Patel and who is it? What's her name? I forget her name with the hair. DNI. Tulsi Gabbard. She released all the information that these guys were plotting before the election to make sure that they could stop Trump. We've heard we've been on top of this for God knows how long. But it's great to see it now front and center for the American people to start to digest this, because this is something that was ongoing, and there's no statute of limitations on treason. So he's got that to look forward to. When you talk about, now we're moving forward with a court case, finally, hopefully, and that he doesn't make a deal, because that's also potential. He can make a deal going, there's too much in here. I'm going to get squashed. I got to make sure I protect myself, my family, our health, make sure something doesn't happen to me. He might make a deal and say, okay, we're going to give you this, but you can't look at all this. We'll see what happens, but it'll be interesting. I'm celebrating. I don't care what Eric Swalwell says, because he's threatening prosecutors who bring these cases. Too bad.
Yeah. By the way, before I come to you, Vin, we're learning also tonight that the James Comey indictment case right now is currently assigned to a Biden appointee, Judge Michael S. Nachmanoff, Nachmanoff. I guess that's pronounced Nachmanoff. That's according to Politico. So a Biden judge in a place that you'd say is, like I said, you could imagine a jury of a bunch of overpaid federal bureaucrats and Democrats who are lying to get themselves on there.
Yep.
But give me your thoughts.
First off, I'd like to see different categories of indictment. So the FBI director was clearly corrupt, James Comey, and so were FBI agents working within it, Peter Strzok, others. So one, I want to see the FBI cleaned up. More indictments need to happen there. Two, Adam Schiff is like number 2 on my list. Why? Not only because of what he did, but because senators in general were so corrupt and are so corrupt, they need to be taken to task and indicted. So I want to see those two categories, those two groups, with multiple indictments. The first one here is great with Comey. I'm very happy about this. I think it is, and we're not celebrating, but I think to your point, Damon, when they get dragged through the process of court, they get dragged through all the evidence like they try to do with Trump, embarrass the heck out of him, make him spend all this money. That is, one thing that I want to see happen to them, so we can see what actually happened and have them be under oath testifying to try and get out of whatever trouble they're on. So I love that. The other point I'll make is this is why I love Trump's picks, Kash Patel. He and Devin Nunes were digging deep underneath the swamp, deep. And they've uncovered all sorts of stuff from January 6th to this whole Russia phony thing. And, when you make Kash Patel the head of the FBI, he already knows where those bodies are buried. Like, he just has to start poking around and looking. So to me, that one of the things I was so happy about that pick was that he knew where the bodies were buried. So I love that. And number 3, I think we should start a shell collection and send him to whatever prison that Comey's going to be in, so he can do a few little works of art with shells with the fellow inmates. They may like that.
Yeah.
You know, it could be very fun for him to do too.
Shells for
cells. Yeah.
He might need some, and kind of take care of things when he goes to the bathroom. You never know.
This is May 3rd, 2017. Having not read the indictment yet, I would bet that this is going to be the main exchange, or one of them that's pointed to it. Here it is.
Director Comey, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?
Never.
Question 2 on relatively related. Have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?
No.
Has any classified information relating to President Trump or his associates been declassified and shared with the media?
Not to my knowledge.
You testified before the House Intelligence Committee that a lot of classified matters have ended up in the media recently. Without getting into any particular article, I want to emphasize that, without getting into any particular article, is there an investigation of any leaks of classified information relating to Mr. Trump or his associates?
I don't want to answer that question, Senator, for reasons I think you know. There have been a variety of leaks. Well, leaks are always a problem, but especially in the last 3 to 6 months. And where there is a leak of classified information, the FBI, if it's our information, makes a referral to the Department of Justice, or if it's another agency's information, they do the same, and then DOJ authorizes the opening of an investigation. I don't want to confirm in an open setting whether there are any investigations open.
I want to challenge you on that, because the government regularly acknowledges when it's investigating classified leaks. You did that in the Valerie Plame case. What's the difference here?
Well, the most important difference is I don't have authorization from the department to confirm any of the investigations they've authorized. And it may be that we can get that at some point, but I'm not going to do it sitting here in an open setting without having talked to them.
There you go. We'll discuss that clip when we get back, because I think that's going to be a key clip in this whole thing. So, all right, live from Studio 6B, 13 past the hour, just getting started. Lots to do on a busy Thursday night. We're back right after this.
You know, Chuck Grassley knew the answers.
Of course he did.
While he's asking these questions, so you could just see in his face. Of course. That was great.
Rhetorical, baby.
The 10 seconds of silence would give it away.
Yeah, that was that got me thinking. Yeah. Right. Back on social media here with my folks from Facebook. I check Facebook all the time, guys. I mean, I don't know. You're on YouTube there, Rick?
I'm on the YouTube. So
I'm on YouTube.
I'm usually on the Rumble.
Yeah, I'm in it.
You're in the Rumble.
No super chats yet, Vinny. David Wiley Wiles. What are you looking for in the YouTubes? I'm in the YouTubes.
He's Delgado's on YouTube. I'm doing Facebook. I got all my folks there from Facebook. Doris McKee. I haven't seen Doris there. Doris, good to see you. Lisa's out there. Cheryl Merrill's out there. She's watching.
Yep. I got Turnpike Man, Moon Pie, Marilyn Schwoob, Peggy P, Bill Moore.
Now, Kathy Turner is saying that there's lots of info coming out that lots of agents in the FBI are ready to start dishing. That we need to hear. And they should be. Like, you just hope now everybody starts turning. I think they have been. Lots of, folks whistleblowing. Sure, there's no shortage of that. Laura Rose, good to see you.
Howdy in the Rumbles to the Trump 99B, Regina Matthews, Broomstick, Mike VL72, TJK 3746,
Whoa.
Ordinary Passenger, The Hoser,
Ike.
Regina Matthews, I mentioned you, yeah, Brownie Bow, Susie 321, among others.
Are we picking
Drake
the game
99.
Denise Martinez, she's
Seattle
out there.
and Arizona.
Michaela.
Seattle and Arizona.
Michaela Vaccaro.
Oh, I got to do my pick.
I love that name.
Seattle and Arizona. What is the line? I think it's
Seattle
like
minus 1.5.
Yeah, I thought it was 1.5. Like, you are correct, Big D. Seattle is favored by 1.5 on the road at the State Farm Stadium, where they had the Charlie Kirk ceremony this weekend.
Wow.
That's where the game is tonight.
That's sacred ground to me right now.
Sure is. I agree with you, Vin, on that one. 100%. But, yep, that's where the game is tonight.
Hey, Karen Schweitzer. Good to see you.
State Farm Stadium, Glendale, Arizona. 8:15 kickoff. They just kicked off now. We don't have the game on here, but game is just underway. No score there. Seahawks are playing good defense.
You could put the game on or Wheel of Fortune, maybe. It'd be really fun.
And Wheel of Fortitude.
That's what I normally watch. You guys all talk about all these picks. I got no clue, honestly. I don't even know who's playing in the foursome.
If you look at our statistics, we don't either.
Come on, Vin. Yeah, your statistics, you guys aren't doing very well. I might do better not knowing a thing.
$17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. So I just played the Chuck Grassley clip. That was, I believe, 2017, May 3rd, 2017 to be exact. And if it was left at that, the statute of limitations would have been run already on that testimony. The problem for Comey, and I believe, again, what we'll see here in the indictment is that it was that testimony in 2017, which led to his congressional testimony in 2020, wherein Ted Cruz, when questioning Director Comey, said to him, now, Director Comey, on May 3rd, 2017, in this committee, Chairman Chuck Grassley asked you point blank, quote, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation? You responded under oath, never. He then asked you, have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton administration? You responded again under oath, no. Now, as we sit here today, Andy McCabe, who works for you, has publicly and repeatedly stated that he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal and that you were directly aware of it and that you directly authorized it. Now, what Mr. McCabe is saying and what you testified to in this committee cannot both be true. One or the other is false. Who's telling the truth? And in response to Ted Cruz's line of questioning, James Comey said, I can only speak to my testimony. I stand by the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017. So that is the 5-year statute of limitations that we're up against. His testimony to Cruz in 2020 about that video I just played for you from 2017. So that is the basis, my understanding is, of the 1001 violation, I guess.
Yeah, it is. That they talked about that today. He's a weasel. He's just a weasel. This guy, you can tell with his testimony and everything he talked about what a weasel this guy really is. And I want to say something about Pam Bondi. She's been catching a lot of flack, and I probably have been part of that because, you know, we're not we're impatient. We want to see, indictments, right? I think we've talked about this, Delgado, a few times.
Yeah.
We want to see indictments. And I want to give a shout out to Pam Bondi. Okay. This wasn't about Trump tweeting last week, by the way. You don't get a grand jury together and an indictment in a week. Okay. This has been going on. It's being prepared, as are other cases. So I, for one, probably got to step back a little and just be a little more patient with Pam Bondi to hope that there are others. You're not.
I'm not.
Yeah. So why?
She's had enough time. The
8
fact that President Trump had to go and put a truth out and blast her on it for her to make a move, because they were hoping this would run out, and the guy that they had in there beforehand wasn't going to bring the charges. They knew that because he's one of them. That's exactly what happened, and I'm glad he was able to get his new pick in there. Obviously, his new pick, this woman Hannigan, as he said, I've already seen 30 plus documents, which means this lawyer that he picked, who was his lawyer in the White House, also had seen everything and knew what they had. Yeah. There was no reason to hold this up. And Pam Bondi's, I think she's got some other masters she's serving besides the president.
Well, here's the other thing to remember, because you're going to see a lot of this, is that Trump is weaponizing the FBI.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
No, Trump's not weaponizing the FBI. Comey weaponized the FBI and got caught.
Yep.
That's why we are where we are. Yep. Not because Trump did anything. Comey weaponized the FBI and now got caught. And he lied about it, and he lied about many things. And like I said last night, if this is what they think that they can bring and this is what they're going to go after and they think they can get, that's fine. 1001 violation and obstruction. But this is not the only thing that this guy could have been charged with. It's just a matter of how far down the plank did they want to walk. And obviously this is about as far as they wanted to walk.
Or how good information they had to be able to charge
and they probably,
anything.
And this is, listen, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, let's just be honest with ourselves. This is not a slam dunk. I would bet this is no way a slam dunk conviction. You have a Biden judge. Yep. You're going to have a Biden-esque, Democrat-esque jury pool in the Eastern District of Virginia. And what's it going to come down to? Comey versus McCabe? How do you figure that out if you're a jury? Which slimeball do we believe less?
Well, I guess you could go to the contents of the burn bags they hope nobody would ever find and see what those things have to say. Plus, you also have to remember, this one was the one coming up against a statute of limitations. So I know they wanted to get that in before it expired, because I think one of you guys said it earlier, it potentially opens up everything else. Because once they start to go to discovery and they start pulling out all this other stuff, that's where I think he might be like, look, I need to make a deal because they're about to hang me out to dry here.
I want to jump on that because what you just said is where my head is at with this entire thing. When someone is indicted and goes to trial, there's a process called discovery. Discovery is basically give all your emails, all your text messages, all your information. And through discovery, you discover evidence, but you also discover additional evidence where other crimes could be linked. Like the mastermind initially of all of this stuff was President Obama.
Right. Yeah.
So a lot of these roads lead back to some bigger names than Comey, but discovery is the key, because within discovery, if you hide or delete or try to game discovery, that's a crime in itself. Sure. Mm-hmm. You can't delete text messages. Well, I guess you could use BleachBit. Maybe you can use BleachBit and then a hammer to hammer some devices and get rid of those, right? I think that's possible.
I heard that Hilly knows that trick.
It's a totally acceptable. Can you imagine if anything ever happened to any of us and we deleted something or used BleachBit, we'd all be in jail. But what I'm hoping is discovery. Each indictment that comes through might not have all the teeth that it needs to, but during discovery, it's going to open up a lot of other avenues.
Right.
And maybe we'll see a lot of these other crooks get filleted through that. So that's sort of where my head is at. It's like, great. Now they got to answer a lot of questions about a lot of stuff.
And again, I throw the treason thing out there because that's what it was. When you try and overthrow a sitting, a duly elected president and then a sitting president, I don't think that goes away after just a couple of years. You can just kind of walk away from it. And remember, they used the same tactic on General Flynn.
Yeah.
So
they framed him.
Yeah, exactly. So, when you say Comey is, what do you call him, slimy?
Slimy, sleazy, slimy, dirty,
sleazy,
whatever you want to call
scumbaggy.
it.
Yeah, that's him.
He's a snake. He's the ultimate snake, because you remember those meetings when he had with Trump and he walking in, Mr. President, it's good to see you. He's shaking his hand. And all this, and the other side of it, he's doing all the sneaky stuff behind the wheel.
Yeah, he's plotting.
Totally.
The two big liars in that first Trump administration were Comey. There were many others, but the top in my list was Comey and Fauci. They lied to President Trump. Fauci lied about everything having to do with COVID to go get what he had to do. Pfizer lied to them too, and Comey, because they pretended they were helping him.
Right.
Total snakes.
Mike Davis tonight on X. Dear lawfare Democrats, you think tonight's indictment of Comey for false statements and obstruction of justice is bad? Just wait for the indictments of many others for conspiracy against rights. 18 U.S.C. 241, TikTok. And, of course, we have John Bolton, as Delgado said, on the burner. We know now there's been classified information found at his home.
Hello.
On the raid. So I believe, if I remember correctly, President Trump had some issues with supposedly classified documents, even though he was the president.
Oh, yeah.
And they had the Presidential Records Act behind him. And what happened there? Did he still get the? Yeah, I think they did go after him still, right? Yeah. Yep. So we have Bolton. We've got Fat Willis with the mortgage deal, right? She's got to be
and more
hot on the iron there.
Yeah.
Fat. Another
fat.
Any other fat people, Damon?
Fat James.
Oh man.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Letitia?
Fat Willis is the prosecutor. Fat James is the one on the mortgage thing.
Letitia.
Yeah. So she's got to be on the thing.
Yeah, a couple of big banks.
And then, like you
there.
said, we've Schiff. He's a leaker and a liar.
Schiff needs to be taken.
Yeah, there's many.
Yeah.
Many. Conspiracy against rights goes broadly when you look at what they did to President Trump. There are many people who fit the bill.
Yep. Cheryl Merrill has a great line. Salad Dodgers unite.
Yeah, that's Kevin Downey Jr.'s line.
Yeah, that's his line, all right.
Oh, I'm telling when he first broke that line, man, how funny was that? That was just, where did he come up with that? Salad Dodgers.
That Ryder Cup, what's going to happen before 7:58 a.m. tomorrow is incredible. The lineup of these guys. This is powerhouse, Big D.
What's the first match go off at? I thought it goes off at 7.
7:10 a.m., Big D.
Yeah.
Hatton and Rahm versus Thomas and DeChambeau. That's a rock and roll. Woof. Man, oh, man. That's a tee-off of multi-offs. Before you even have coffee, man.
It's going to be unbelievable.
That is incredible.
I'll be screaming at the TV by 7:15.
Your favorite golfer tees off at 7:42, Big D. McIlroy and Fleetwood.
That's your favorite? McIlroy?
No.
Oh, no. That's a long-running joke on this show.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's like a 5-year joke on this show. He badmouthed President Trump.
I don't know. Yeah, he's fine.
He's come around, though.
Yeah, he's fine.
He softened it a little bit.
Someone asked him something about America today. He said, well, listen, I still believe America is the greatest country in the world.
How does the U.S. lose this, Big D? Could they lose this?
Absolutely, they
really?
could.
Even with Cantley and
this is the European team is the team. This is, other than one guy, is the same team that whooped us 2 years ago.
Oh,
Hovland. Same exact team.
Victor Hovland, huh?
Now it's a little harder on the road. I think the road team has lost the last 4 over the last 8 years.
I think the Long Island, the New York crowd is going to be heavy, big noise. They're not going to be easy.
Listen, Scotty's got to get 4 points. Bryson's got to get 3 or 4 points. If those two can do that, we should be in good shape.
Morikawa will be any use? Colin?
Everybody else is a question mark on how many points.
With English. Patrick Cantlay coming in hot. Come on, 7:58.
Scotty's got to win 4. Bryson's got to win 3 or 4.
Between 7:10 and 7:58, it is epic. What's going to happen?
And Trump will be on the first tee, my understanding is too, remember.
Oh, will he?
Tomorrow.
What a great president, man. He's out there with every sporting event, man.
He's probably already in New York right now getting ready.
It's going to be raucous.
It is going to be.
That was one of the other reasons. I would have had to get there.
Wanted to be there.
3:30 in the morning to get through.
No, you would have to leave the show and go right over to Bethpage.
Yeah.
Literally.
And I can't walk the course. It's just.
If you can't, you're better off.
I'm surprised Stu didn't hook you up. No.
Well, there's not much Stu could do. I could park at his house if I could, maybe, but I didn't even.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He only lives right off the course.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
The voice of the Ryder Cup. Couldn't believe when I. right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B. We'll get to sports here with Slick in a second. I just want to, John Solomon tonight says that he has gotten his hands on more documents and will be releasing them tomorrow morning. Apparently, these new documents reveal new information on two fronts. Number one, I think one of you just said this. Scores of FBI agents spoke up about the political bias against the conservative movement after J6 and were shot down. No shocker there.
Yeah.
Just the News is going to provide a specific number of how many plainclothes FBI agents were in the crowd on January 6th. And according to Solomon, it's an astounding number. And then this tweet says also, bonus info, a grand jury in Richmond is currently considering the evidence against James Comey. Okay, well, now we know what happened there. So he got indicted. So those are the other two things that I guess Mr. Solomon is working on.
You should guess how many FBI agents, because I'm thinking it's in the 40% of that crowd of FBI agents, with how that crowd behaved and how that all that was incited.
How many people?
Maybe 25% of that crowd.
You know how many people are there?
How many?
Like, what, 100,000 or something?
No, not in the Capitol.
No, out in front. Are you talking about inside the Capitol?
That brought them in the Capitol, yeah.
I mean, for me, I don't know what the numbers are, but when he says astounding, an astounding number would be anything over, I don't know, 2,000-3,000.
Oh yeah,
that's an astounding number.
I would say about a couple of hundred, honestly, because
1,000.
You don't need that many FBI agents, you know.
I mean, I have no idea how to judge what that number would be. I can tell you this: none of us will be surprised.
No,
if it's here's what the big number means, though. What was their agenda? To protect. You know, when that many FBI agents are infiltrating a crowd, it's for security purposes. Or when that many FBI agents enter a crowd, it's to incite something with another agenda. And when it's that big, you don't need that many in there to protect. If the number's as big as what he's thinking, what you need is that many if you want to incite. And that's what it says to me. The bigger that number, the more the proof is that they were there to incite problems.
According to the FBI website, they employ 38,000 people total.
Wow.
Okay,
so they probably only needed about 100, and then you go with the, what do you call it, the assets.
What's the audience thing? Put some numbers in the chat.
You know,
38,000. Think about that number.
Because think about what they use in Michigan for the Whitmer scam. What they have, 16 out of the 18 people that were picked up were FBI.
Really?
Yeah. It was ridiculous. It's like just about everybody except one or two people weren't working for the FBI, whether it be a direct agent or an asset. So when you're talking about FBI agents, that's different than maybe a human asset. That's somebody that they brought along saying, hey, here's what you're going to do.
Right.
Maybe they're totaling up that number. We won't find out. Maybe they'll parse that number and say it was this many agents, this many human assets, this many from this office, this many from that office. We also had from, undercover from D.C. police or, any of the other agencies that could have been involved.
But what it says is intent, and I'd love to know the lineage of the intent. If the FBI deployed this many, who else was in on this discussion? Because it clearly was intent. It wasn't security.
Oh, yeah.
So if there's intent, there has to be a line of command within that. And that's, I can't wait to explore that.
And what's amazing is the guy who was who took over the field office in D.C. was the one who was in charge of the field office in Michigan that was overseeing the scam on Whitmer.
Well, people are all over the map on what the number could be. Some are saying as low as 25. Some are saying 8,000. So everybody's a lot of them are in the low hundreds, 250, 300.
But that's still a large number.
Yeah.
250 FBI agents in a crowd like that? That's unheard of. You don't see that at major events that have thousands of people in stadiums. I would venture to guess how many were at, Charlie Kirk's memorial. For protection purposes. How many were there? And equate that to January 6th. I bet you we would all be shocked by those numbers.
That's a good number if you could find that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would be good to see.
Yeah. All right, 34 past the hour. Let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. We got a little odds makers to do here because we have a Thursday night NFL game. Seattle at Arizona. Game has started, but it's all right. Still 0-0, 7:59 to go in the first. Seattle's been playing well. They're the favorite, -1.5 on the road. Slick, I'll come to you first. What do you like in this game?
As much as I like to go for Arizona because they are home in Glendale, Arizona at the State Farm Stadium. Great place, right? Great event on Sunday. But I'm going to go with the Seahawks. They're playing too well, and I'm going to take Seattle. I'm going to lay the 1.5 on the road.
Okay, Aaron, -1.5. Seattle's been clearly the better team. What do you got here?
I'm taking Seattle -1.5. I think Seattle's had, the Cardinals basically put down the past 7 times they've matched up. They've won 6 and covered all 6 the spread. So those are pretty good odds to me.
Yeah, that's all the reasons I would put my house on Arizona tonight because it looks way too easy to take.
And they're driving right now, Big D.
Seattle looks so good, and Arizona looks like they stink. I mean, absolutely stink. How
Arizona also lost their lead rusher to injury. He's out for the year. So.
Yeah, and how are they only 1.5? So no, I can't fall for that.
They still got McBride at tight end. He's
I'm on Arizona plus the 1.5.
Yeah,
here,
and they're driving, Big D. They're inside the red zone right now. Okay. So you're in the second quarter, 7:26 to go, and we'll see. But
all right,
yeah, Big D, you're always bet against
all
us.
right, let's do some other sports. Look, take it away.
Well, we got 4 games left in the Major League Baseball season for those who love to follow baseball. A lot of teams have clinched, but we still have a few wild card spots left.
I was looking at the schedules of the remaining teams. The Mets definitely have the easiest schedule to make it to the wild card, right?
The Reds have to play Milwaukee, who's a very good team. Yes, I know. It's going to be tough. You're no question, Big D. But the Reds have won today. They already won 2-1 earlier today, so that was a big win for Cincinnati over the Pirates. And we got the Marlins and Phillies. Phillies lead that game 1-0. Doesn't really matter. But Tigers and Guardians is a big game. They're both vying for that last wild card spot. Top of the 8th, Tigers leading 4-1 in Cleveland. Yankees, they're already in. They're losing 3-1, but they're in anyway. And we got the Mets are up 3-0 in Wrigley over the Chicago Cubs. Mets really hold their own destiny, really. They're at the point now. They're a half game in. They need the win tonight to keep the Reds at bay. Arizona lost last night, so they're 1.5 games back. Yeah. And they lost today. They lost to the Dodgers.
And the Mets are streaky.
8-0.
The Mets could be one of those teams that just gets hot in the playoffs.
They could
run.
No question about it. So we will obviously keep an eye on that, Big D. Mets game in Wrigley, a big one, but right now they're leading that game. So they're up 3-0 now. They just went up 3-0 in the top of the 4th. Frank the Tank is obviously desperately awaiting to see who's going to win that one.
Hold it on, Slick, for 1 second. Hello. Tony Ferrigno on Facebook says Solomon already mentioned today 85 to Grant Stinchfield. 85 agents.
No.
Wow.
So that's what he says. I didn't see it.
Number.
That doesn't seem like an overwhelming number to me for it to cover that amount of ground and that amount of people. But
well, again, you're talking about agents. You're not talking about assets, human assets. All the and those are FBI. You don't know if HHS had agents there. You don't know if what do we have? 17, 18 intel agencies they could pick from.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't know.
All right, sports continue.
All right, well, let's get to Bethpage Black, Big D. Bryson DeChambeau says Trump can inspire us to victory at Bethpage Black Ryder Cup. Ryan Morick of Fox News reporting earlier today. President Donald Trump will attend the first day of the Ryder Cup this weekend at Bethpage Black, and it has members of Team USA excited. Both Scotty Scheffler and Keegan Bradley raved about his attendance at the People's Country Club, and his YouTube co-star Bryson DeChambeau is also excited. The 2-time U.S. Open champion even believes Trump could add some motivation to the team representing the Stars and Stripes. I hope he will inspire us to victory. I think he'll be a great force for us to get a lot of people on our side, DeChambeau told reporters Thursday. I think it will be interesting and exciting to see how the crowd and everybody reacts. It's going to be an electric environment, right, Big D? What do you think? It's going to be wild tomorrow morning, right before coffee at 7:10 when the president jumps on the course?
Colin Morikawa said so far that the New York audience has been fairly tame, in his opinion. He said he wants Friday morning to be chaos. So we'll see if Long Island shows up and acknowledges that.
Send some FBI agents. That might make it a little chaotic.
Yep. And a few years ago, I almost lost my job because sports was becoming very irrelevant amongst the Republican and Conservative Party. But guess what? The Ryder Cup will be the 3rd sporting event this month Trump will have attended, all of which have been in the New York metro area. So thank God for a president that loves sports. Kind of saved my career. Trump was in attendance for the men's U.S. Open final on September 7th and attended a New York Yankees game against the Detroit Tigers 4 days later, the 24th anniversary of September 11th, of course. DeChambeau had Trump featured in one of his Breaking 50 videos last year, shortly before the first assassination attempt on Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. Trump returned the favor by inviting him on stage during his victory speech last November. Remember that? That was cool. Any side of public political leanings in athletes could lead to a loss or gain of fans, but when asked by Fox News Digital last year if DeChambeau had any regrets over making the video with Trump, DeChambeau Not at all. There's always risk associated to that, but from my perspective, it was focused on entertainment. DeChambeau said to Fox News Digital at Maradona Golf Club, the site of last year's Live Golf Team Championship outside of Dallas. We can talk about politics. That's a whole different conversation, something that I was not trying to do on my YouTube channel. It was solely on providing great entertainment. That it did. The video has more than 16 million views on YouTube, making it by far his most popular video. Wow. And Bradley, Team USA's captain, said Trump will be the first tee, which is at 7:10 a.m. tomorrow, Big D. Can't wait for that. That's what happens in sports, Big D.
Absolute
tremendous.
Madness it should
Can't
be.
wait.
So we'll see. All right, Slick, very good. Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Let's get back into the headlines. And we covered the Comey thing. I don't know if you have any more, Rick Delgado, but Delgado's got the headlines. What else is going on?
Well, still a lot of stuff coming out regarding the Comey thing, the Comey situation. This just in as Senator Richard Blumenthal sends a warning to Republicans after James Comey is indicted, warning that they could do the same to the conservatives. What comes around goes around, he said, with a straight face on MSNBC.
That's the idea, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then there was this from California Representative Eric Swalwell, threatening prosecutors if they bring an indictment against James Comey. Here it is, cut number 6. Just so we know, the process is the punishment. Cut 6. Check it out.
This is a very, very corrosive act that the president is taking. And what I would just say to any prosecutor at the Department of Justice is it's not going away. As a member of the Judiciary Committee, I promise you, when Democrats are in the majority, we are going to look at all of this. And there will be accountability. And bar licenses will be at stake in your local jurisdiction if you are corruptly indicting people where you cannot prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's the standard, huh? Okay.
I wonder if he's talked to Mr. Rudolph Giuliani about his law license.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow, tough guy.
Ever come up. Yeah, so of course, Democrats are freaking out up and down the aisle. Democrats freaking out up and down the aisle. And here is President Trump when he was asked by our own Brian Glenn about the Comey indictment. Here it is, cut number 4 from earlier today in the White House. Cut 4, Brian Glenn with President Trump. Check it out.
It seems like an indictment of James Comey is imminent. Would this be the first step in accountability for pushing the hoax of Russia, along with Barack Obama involved as well?
Well, I can't tell you what's going to happen because I don't know. You have very professional people headed up by the Attorney General and Todd Blanche and Lindsay Halligan, who's very smart, good lawyer, very good lawyer. They're going to make a determination. I'm not making that determination. I think I'd be allowed to get involved if I want, but I don't really choose to do so. I can only say that Comey's a bad person. He's a sick person. I think he's a sick guy, actually. He did terrible things at the FBI. I love that. And, but I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. Thank you very much, everybody.
So there it is, the president with his assessment of James Comey.
Sick.
The president put out a truth about it. We'll show you that. Plus, we'll show you what the Attorney General put out and what the FBI Director put out. All when we get back, live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this.
Kayla Vaccaro says, Slawwell, tell us about, just your comment there, Damon, Fang, it's Wing Fang or something, right? About all the secrets she took back to China.
Yeah. Like we're going to listen to that guy. Please.
He's just as sleazy as they get. They just have so many sleazeballs on the left in Congress and in the House. And he's on like a powerful committee too. Like this guy should not be anywhere with the association he had with a Chinese spy. It's unheard of that he has this level of authority, or at least participation. Ricky Cope says the Democrats are all crapping in their pants now.
Laura B says, okay, guys, it's commercial break, so it's time to ignore the 1.2 thousand people watching you on X. Don't mention us. We're okay. We're okay. Okay.
Oh, X. Love X, by the way.
Very good.
Are you on X right now?
I'm on everything, but it goes too fast for me to.
I mean, they said they're okay, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Right?
They sound fine. They don't sound.
We do our best to keep up with, I mean, like 5 or 6
When do we get a dancing
sites.
Damon emoji? I don't know.
Make that happen.
Do I have to participate in making that? No, you should be able to do that through AI or something, I'm sure, right?
Just use AI.
I mean, come on.
Kathy Turner says she loves Trump. Yep, we do too. Excellent.
I've got a Rapture update.
You do?
Yeah.
Did it happen?
I have a reason why it may not have happened yet.
Okay.
I got a couple.
All right. You're on it.
Wow, Seattle just scored a touchdown.
Karen Schweitzer, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Debbie Allen says there were 4,000 FBI agents. So we're guessing at numbers, but I tend to think it's going to be up in the thousands.
I don't know if it's going to be in the thousands. That sounds too much to me.
I'd be happy with a couple of hundred because it'll say the same thing to me, whether it's a few hundred or a few thousand, that they had intent to manipulate the crowd, which is what they did.
In the chat, Commander Mike, college grad failure, racing banshee.
John D 6307 says we're okay on Rumble too, Big D. Just saying.
I'm always in the Rumble.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Delgado's in the Rumble.
I'm always in the Rumble, and I usually hang out on Twix as well.
X is not feeling love. We got to get into
We try to get all over the
De La
place.
Vaca.
Let's just all go out to dinner so everybody's happy, okay? Where should we go? Slick's paying.
Oh, hey.
Let's go, baby.
How about you get
George Martin Steakhouse in Oakdale.
Get that steak truck. Where's the steak truck?
That's George.
Live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Let's get to a couple tweets that were put out. Let's start with the Attorney General, Aaron. If you have Pam Bondi's tweet, let's put that up, and then we'll go through a couple of them here. No one is above the law. Today's indictment reflects this Department of Justice's commitment to holding those who abuse positions of power accountable for misleading the American people. We will follow the facts in this case. That from the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. And, that's truthful, but it's not really to the point. The point is that this guy had extreme power in this position and abused it to a level that we've maybe never seen in this country, and maybe to a degree that the FBI as a whole will be hard to ever recover from the damage this guy has done.
True.
That's more to the point. How bad and just corrupt this guy was, given the power that he had, which was enormous.
It was enormous power, but enormous enablement as well. You'd only get power by enablement. So the enabling by the President of the United States at that time, Barack Obama, and the President of the United States in Joe Biden, and and so on and so forth. You only get that by enablement. So there's you become corrupt when people look the other way or allow it.
Obama was fired before Biden.
Yeah, Obama.
Thankfully.
Thank you. Yeah. Well,
Matt, remember the outrage when he fired him too?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, has there ever been a more appropriate fire ever in the history of the world than that guy from that position?
Yeah. Oof. And the only bad part about it was that it took longer than January 22nd.
Exactly.
It should have been right on that first day. He should have been out, and they should have been investigating everything that he was doing.
But the point on enablement with Biden is Biden's administration enabled nothing to happen to him, and nothing to happen to anyone in the FBI.
Well, it made it worse. The Durham investigation, all that nonsense.
They covered that up in a sense.
Yeah, I mean Mueller, not Durham. Mueller. Well, both of it actually.
Yeah.
But Mueller more is what I meant. FBI Director Kash Patel today. Today, your FBI took another step in its promise of full accountability for far too long. Previous corrupt leadership and their enablers weaponized federal law enforcement, damaging once proud institutions and severely eroding public trust. Every day we continue the fight to earn that trust back, and under my leadership, this FBI will confront the problem head on. Nowhere was this politicization of law enforcement more blatant than during the Russiagate hoax, a disgraceful chapter in the history we continue to investigate and expose. Everyone, especially those in positions of power, will be held to account no matter their perch. No one is above the law. That out from FBI Director Kash Patel tonight.
That I like to hear.
And finally, out from the President of the United States tonight, justice in America. One of the worst human beings this country has ever been exposed to is James Comey, the former corrupt head of the FBI. Today, he was indicted by a grand jury on 2 felony counts for various illegal and unlawful acts. He has been so bad for our country for so long and is now at the beginning of being held responsible for his crimes against our nation. Make America great again.
Yeah, let me say something on this thing with Comey. Comey's no different than those snipers that we have seen. The sniper out there trying to shoot ICE agents, the sniper that shot Charlie Kirk, the sniper that went after Donald Trump. They're no different because Comey was working as a result of all of this evil and fake information being incited to take down a president. These snipers acted on the same information and lies that the left have been telling and acted out on that. There's not a huge difference. He didn't use a gun. He used his power to take down and demoralize an entire administration and do everything you could that was illegal. He just didn't use a gun. Others used a gun, but off of the same sort of hyperboles and the same sort of, intimidation of information.
Here is the former FBI director tonight. I believe this just came out a little while ago.
He looks
Here he
good.
is.
Can't wait.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either.
No.
Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid, and I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it, which it does. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial.
Yeah.
And keep the faith.
Bring it. Bring it on.
So there you go. Another hostage video from the former FBI director in his initial plea to try to poison the jury pool.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Eastern Virginia, because that's exactly who he's playing to. He's playing to every Democrat on the East Coast.
What an egomaniac.
Which is why that's out so quickly.
And what's so funny is that before I came to the show tonight, I was watching another network that had a couple former FBI agents talking about James Comey, who was so in love with his own personal persona, his public persona, that he was always checking, how did I come out? How did I look? How did I do this? Did this look? He was always so concerned with how he came across in the media, because that's what he was driven by. Yeah. It's amazing, and you see it right now. He's like, "Oh,
what
I can't."
An ego.
You know, America, we have to stand together. And and Damon, that's a hostage video. That's exactly it.
It's
narcissism. And I'm sure the female that he's referencing is his own daughter, who got canned last week because they knew they were about to indict him. They can't have her working in the same justice system that he's involved with.
And his son-in-law said, "I'm out of here tonight as well."
Good.
He should be. They should all run. They didn't think for 1 second that Donald Trump would ever win the presidency again.
No, they did not.
And they never thought, not only did they think the Democrats are going to win, but if a Republican won, it was going to be a swamp creature Republican. So they never feared any of this retribution.
Nope.
If you think about where their heads were at during all of this stuff, they were just like, there's not a chance Trump survives any of this stuff and can run. So they weren't fearful. They did everything that they wanted to do.
They had the snipers, they had the attempts, they had the lawfare, they had everything, and they even tried to control. They even tried to control, the way we voted, and he blew all that away. He just blew it all away.
They were so unprepared. But my point is, this is why they acted so callously, because they did. All the things they did were so over the top. You know, not only illegal and corrupt and everything else you can say, it was just over-the-top corruption at a level we've never seen. And part of the reason is they never thought for a second that Trump would ever come back and be in power, let alone anybody that would take him to task. I mean, the only person capable of taking him to task is President Trump, by the way.
And to find those burn bags, you know, they all probably had to put on adult diapers after they found that out. It's like, wait, that wasn't taken care of?
Another box of Depends, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, to see the response from the Democrats is going to be comical today as they talk about Trump weaponizing.
Oh, boy.
I mean, it's comedy gold what we're going to see over the next 24 hours from the party that did everything and wanted this man in jail for the rest of his life, wanted his kids in jail for the rest of his life, wanted him destitute for the rest of his life, did everything they could to achieve those ends. And now tonight you watch what you're going to hear from them about President Trump weaponizing the government against his political enemies. That is going to be rich, rich, rich. All right, that's a wrap. Quick hour one, hour two, coming back live from Studio 6B. Big Dick Blumenthal, he's already on CNN. He's already got some ideas. I'll tell you what they are when we get back. Plus, Vinnie Mac's News coming up.
Yeah. He's still... Emmett Smith back there.
I flew to see him go in the Hall of Fame. Emmett Smith doing a commercial for Depends. Oh, he's top 10. I mean, not top. He's definitely top 10.
He's great back.
I don't know about top 5. Is you know. I mean, I think, you know, for your money, Barry Sanders is probably the greatest ever. A lot of people feel that way in terms of how great he played with a lousy team and really no line. Jim Brown is up there. I mean, I love him or hate him. O.J. Simpson's up there, too. Oof.
Well, didn't Tony win more?
They both, no, Tony Dorsett won only one Super Bowl. He won Super Bowl 12.
I thought he won more.
Nope, just the one. He was the rookie season in New Orleans. He won that game 27-10. They never won a Super Bowl again in his career. Emmett Smith won 3 Super Bowls. So, yeah, Emmett's definitely
Wayne Camp, you're right. Winner. Comey deserves to be indicted. He's trying to manipulate opinions.
They probably should have.
I would put Emmett Smith ahead of him, Big D. Emmett Smith's the all-time leading rusher. He won 3 Super Bowls. Yes, I would put Emmett ahead of Dorsett, but Dorsett was unbelievable. One of the best outside runners of all time. Has the all-time record, right? 99.5 yards. For the longest run in NFL history, Monday Night Football. What was that, 1983? Wow.
I think therapists and psychologists should use that Comey video to show this is what a narcissist
I've heard
is.
You say it before.
Maybe. I was like, that's good, Yogo. Wow.
You're filling my head with all your useless Dallas knowledge.
Stuff. Oh, Micah Boston coming to town. What could possibly go wrong Sunday night? It's like national news. They're not going to have like a tribute video to him. Why? I mean, the guy really played a couple of years there. They're going to have a tribute video? He's not Bob Lilly. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's Bob Lilly? He was a gardener. Cuckoo. I met Bob Lilly, actually. What a great guy.
Yeah, sure.
Great guy.
I met Lily Munster, too. Very nice.
Oh, who's going into the tent now?
I did not know that. Gail Sayers.
Gail Sayers.
Kirk Fournier is saying Gail Sayers.
Gail Sayers was
great.
He
blew out his knee twice, and he still was a great back.
Gail Sayers could definitely be top 10. I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
There you go. Okay.
He was fantastic.
You would know that.
Slick agrees with you, Kirk.
Gail says Brian's song. What a great movie, right? Brian Piccolo.
Oh, it was
that
just
was
on TV too.
God.
Billy D. Williams.
Oh, that was. I cried. I cried as a kid. I cried.
Well,
like
as
a
an
baby.
adult watching it, I mean, it's hard to contain yourself.
That story was epic. That's one of the. You know what? That's arguably one of the best sports movies ever.
Hour 2, 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Real America's Voice, live from Studio 6B. Glad you're in on a Thursday night. Slick Rick sitting right there. He's going to do some more sports headlines. Rick Delgado's got some more news headlines. Vinnie Mac's got some thoughts on news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Glad you're in, everybody, on a Thursday, whether you're watching on Real America's Voice, if you're on social media, YouTube, Rumble, X, Truth, wherever you're watching, Facebook. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, hit the thumbs up, get engaged, comment, join us in the chat. We love to talk to the people in the chat on all platforms. And, of course, we stay live during the breaks on all platforms. So you can chat with us and kind of see what's going on. Like I said, lots to get to. Obviously, the night is focused on James Comey indictment, as it should be, and there's more to get to. Now, the text of the Comey indictment has been released. I'll just give you the two counts, how they read. Count 1, on or about September 30th, 2020, James B. Comey Jr. did willfully and knowingly make a material false, fictitious, and fraudulent statement in a matter within the jurisdiction of the legislative branch of the government of the United States by falsely stating to a U.S. Senator during a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing that he, James B. Comey Jr., had not authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports, quote unquote, regarding an FBI investigation concerning person 1. Count 2, on or about September 30th, 2020, in the Eastern District of Virginia, the defendant, James B. Comey Jr., did corruptly endeavor to influence, obstruct, and impede the due and proper exercise of the power of the inquiry under which an investigation was being had before the Senate Judiciary Committee by making false and misleading statements before that committee. So that's the actual count 1, count 2 reading of the indictment. Now the report is that Comey's going to turn himself in tomorrow morning. So those of you looking for your mugshot, I guess you'll get it officially tomorrow morning at some point.
Wow.
And then I would assume he would be released. And then we'll head down the road here of building a trial and see how this ends up. Again, Eastern District of Virginia. You would suspect that's a very favorable district for him. The judge, you would think it would be a very favorable judge for him, a Biden appointee judge. But you never know. So now the Democrats, as we said before we went to break, are going to be laughable in their screaming about weaponizing of government, given what we've seen the last 10 years against the current and sitting president of the United States. But trust me, that won't slow them down from doing it. They're already doing it. Dick Blumenthal's out. He's got some thoughts. He's already run to CNN, of course, because that's where you run when you want to vomit from your mouth a bunch of BS that none of us are going to listen to, but to talk to their side. Here's Dick's thoughts on what he wants to do.
Congressman from California in the House Judiciary Committee. And he was saying, that Congress needs to stand up. And I want to ask you in this context, what can you do right now as a Democratic senator about this?
I can add.
Now, just think about the question, by the way. Here you have an indictment brought by a jury with 2 serious counts of obstruction of justice and a 1001 violation. And the news anchor, whose job is it to supposed to elicit information on, says to the sitting U.S. senator, what can you do about this? Like, come on, you got to defend our guy here.
Exactly.
Yep.
Ask questions of the Department of Justice, which we will do. We can support colleagues and others on the Republican side who may be inclined, I hope they will be, to draw a line here and protest. Obviously, I have no role in court. I was a prosecutor for 4.5 years as U.S. Attorney in Connecticut. I also was Attorney General for 20 years.
Hey, how about this? How about you sat on the committee, Dick? So when Comey said blatantly to Senator Cruz and to Chuck Grassley back in 2017, which you were around for then, I believe still then, when you listen to him say blanket no other word, just no and no to those two questions, you're sitting on the committee there, I believe, on the Judiciary Committee. Knowing what we know now, do you think he was lying? How about that question? Hey, what are you going to do to defend our guy? What are we going to do here? We got to talk to somebody. Come on, Dick. What are we going to do?
CNN,
the most consequential decisions I made were whether to charge someone, because nobody ever fully recovers from those charges. A lot of people believe that an acquittal just means there was some technical issue. So I think it's important to encourage the private bar to step up. Donald Trump made deals with a number of the major law firms in the country. They ought to rip them apart and say enough is enough. I would encourage attorneys in the Department of Justice to stand up for their conviction and conscience, as Eric Siebert did. He's the U.S. attorney who resigned rather than bring those charges. And as a member of the United States Senate, I'm going to go to the floor of the Senate. I'm going to go to committee meetings. I'm going to speak privately. I'm going to protest. And I am going to seek legislation we're formulating right now that may well prevent some of this perversion of justice. We are writing legislation that will give remedies and rights to people who are victims of malicious prosecution.
Like Donald Trump.
We have to provide safeguards because we've clearly seen how the ordinary norms are defied by this autocratic president. We're on the way to tyranny if we permit it to go forward.
Oh, yeah. Tyranny's on the mind, boy. Oh, we're very concerned.
Yeah.
Let's see. What can I say about the Constitution? I love the Constitution.
Let me bring in a First Amendment.
Tyranny.
Let me wrap myself in all the buzzwords that we care about now, don't you know?
Let me make sure I don't say no one is above the law, because they're using that one now.
You think if Dick was sitting with Aaron here about 4 or 5 years ago, and she said, well, you know, when I look at this indictment brought by Letitia James, it really looks like copy paste 37 times here, Dick. Do you think you should maybe get some legislation to help prosecutions like this that just seem kind of you think he would have had the same answer then? Oh, I don't think so. I'm going to go get legislation, don't you know?
I'm going to go down on the floor and I'm going to speak and I'm going to write some tersely worded letters. It's going to be great.
That was all buzzwords. It's like he had a cheat sheet. It's like, I'm going to look at the preamble and the postamble. I'm going to look at every amble. I don't know how many ambles we got, but I'm going to look at those ambles. I mean, what an absolute... This is why I went on that little rant last time I was on about the midterms. Like, when they talk like this, and if they're in power, we're going to see hysterical nonsense coming out in the form of, I mean, geez, I hope not, legislation, you know? That could be absolutely horrific. To me, it all comes down to the result we have to look at as MAGA and as Republicans and as conservatives is make sure those midterms we win huge, because this is what we're up against, these liars.
Yeah. All right, Vinnie Mac, what else has caught your attention in the news?
I have a medical story, but before I mention that story, it ties into all the stuff we're talking about. And one of our viewers, loyal viewer, Bill B., I'll call his name. He may not want me to use his name on air. He sent me this note, and it's exactly what I've been thinking, which is my fear is that the radical left pulls out all stops and creates chaos that neutralizes law and order, which is such a true statement because they are so desperate. And we're seeing that with ICE. We're seeing that with all the things that are starting to brew up with their protests and everything else. That's their way to fight this. They did it with Black Lives Matter. They did it with those George Floyd and all that other nonsense. They're gonna create chaos in the streets to offset what we're trying to remedy. It's one of my biggest issues. You know, I look at Newsom, who has blood on his hands, by the way, with that sniper in Texas. Big time blood on his hands. But the story I want to get to is this just shocked me. There was an interview by some very top medical professionals, and others that have talked to both the Senate and have talked in other interviews about vaccines. And I want to talk about vaccines because I know autism's been in the news, RFK with the Tylenol thing and so on. But one thing that hasn't really been talked about is the incentives for pediatricians to get their patients to take vaccines. I have seen a ridiculous number of how much money they make because the HMOs buy and sell vaccines. I don't know if any of you know that. The pharmaceutical companies make the vaccines, the HMOs buy and sell it. Within there's a huge profit margin. The pediatricians have a quota or a percentage they have to get to. When they hit that, they make about $200 a vaccine. Yep. The pediatricians. And they can make up to or over $1 million prescribing these things. Now, I have to say it, of all the things I've heard in the medical community and all the corruption, I did not realize the numbers were that astonishing. And then you look at the trouble we're having with vaccines. I know Damon's talked about it a lot. I saw an interview with Jenny McCarthy. She has an autistic child. She tells a really great story about her pediatrician telling her she had to give her kid all these vaccines when it was born, and she didn't want to. She had like a gut instinct, a motherly gut instinct, and didn't want to do it. And she said, this guy literally pressured me into doing it, and I caved and did it, and my kid's autistic. And now, maybe it had everything to do with it. Maybe it had nothing to do with it, but it sure as hell smells like it had some relation to it. But what I never realized, and why this story really jumped out at me, is all the things RFK is doing, all the things he's trying to do within vaccines and health and autism and so on and so forth. I knew there was a big money trail. I just thought that money trail was with the pharmaceutical companies. I did not know that landed with the pediatricians and the HMOs. So I thought it was a pretty interesting story to talk about and something that we all should be aware of. Like I don't know about you, if you go to a doctor and he says, Damon, you got high cholesterol, you need to take this. What are you going to do? Argue with the guy?
No.
I mean, he going to debate this? Are you going to say, well, I've heard about this drug and I've heard about that drug? Your doctor tells you what's wrong with you. You're generally going to say, well, they told me I got to go and take this antibiotic. I got to go do this thing. I need the vaccine. Yep. These are people of authority. Yep. It's like
I did do that with the pediatricians.
You fought back.
Yeah, I had to.
Very few people.
Very
few.
You're
and
right.
the intimidation.
9 out of 10 don't.
I had read David Kirby's fine book, Evidence of Harm, back in 1990. Probably 1990s, and it was all about the link even back then, about thimerosal, mercury in these vaccines, and the link between that and autism. So I had read that back then. I had listened to, of course, I was a pretty regular listener of Imus and his wife Deidre and the Hackensack Medical Hospital push on not only thimerosal and vaccines, but cleaning products and all of that stuff and how it factored in. I was on top of all that. So when my son was born in 2007, I was pretty well armed to go take on any physician at the time. And I went through about 5 of them.
Wow. Were you aware they were making so much money
No.
on the vaccines? Right.
I mean, I didn't think about it in that. I mean, I guess if I stopped and thought about it, but I never thought about it in that context.
I never thought.
I was just arguing for there's no way and I think at that time it wasn't even, I don't know what the number is now. There was no way there was 28 shots going in either one of in my son's arm at that time. And certainly we weren't going to do multiple in one day. No. And I don't care what you tell me.
But if you knew he was incentivized with all this money, you would want to challenge it even stronger.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, 13 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. We'll do some more sports, more headline news. We'll continue to check if there's any other news on the Comey situation. Again, we believe he's going to surrender tomorrow morning.
Ooh, goody.
Morning raid.
That should be fun.
Wow.
All right, live from Studio 6B.
Before or after tea time?
Right after this.
Up the receiver and it was a pick. He should have caught it, but he bobbled it and Seattle grabbed it.
I want to stay on this for a second. Dana Williams on Facebook says her doctor said no, He doesn't like it, but that's his personal. So she had a doctor that actually talked about it. But another viewer of ours said that she was pressured big time by her pediatrician to force through these vaccines. That's my point. Why are they pressuring to that level?
I was pressured, but they tried to pressure us too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one thing to pressure because your health's at stake. It's another thing to pressure because that's going to put another 50, 60 grand in my pocket. You know, that's what really at the end of the day, it's wrong on both ends. But with that financial incentive, like, people will do dumb things like these pediatricians. I hate to say it, you can't trust them.
Doc tried to pressure me too. I looked down at him. I said, "Hey, Doc, you want to keep that stethoscope around your neck? Then the conversation's over."
Yeah, good. Big D threatening the pediatrician. We like that.
Hey, Vin, Islanders have come back. God. It's 4-3.
Oh, yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
Preseason, 6:50 to go.
Oh. Okay.
YouTube's.
Where is that? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Tony Ferrigno. You remember the Sacklers, with the Oxycontin? Did you guys see that documentary and the movie on them?
Who's oh, got it right here. Okay.
Yeah, so Tony, I saw the movie or the doc on that, which I think Michael Keaton was in the movie. And everybody got addicted and they lied. And yeah, I hear you, man. That was a sick case that proves my point. I wonder if we're going to get a beautiful publicity shot at Comey's mugshot like they did with Trump.
I would hope so.
I think that should be, something we should frame and put on the wall here at Live from Studio 6B.
Is he turning himself in, or is he going to go grab him?
He's turning himself
in, yeah.
Oh, it'd be so much more fun.
It would have been more a morning raid,
they
right?
should say, you know what?
6 a.m.
I know you were going to turn yourself in, but screw that. Yeah. We're just going to wake you up at 2:30, put on some pants,
get his long johns.
Time to go.
Put on a suit.
Put on a suit. Yeah, exactly. Oof.
Sound like the blues. 17 past the hour. Live from Studio 6B on a Thursday. Let me talk to you about our friends over at Old Glory Bank. Did you see President Trump call out the big banks for refusing to bank certain Americans? Well, we sure did. We've all lived it here on this show. Vinnie Mac, me, everybody. Paul, don't reward those big banks. Move your money to Old Glory Bank. I can't encourage you enough to do this, as I did with my son. His account is at Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank serves customers in all 50 states with the best online banking for both consumers and businesses. Everything you can do at the big woke banks, you can do better at Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank has always been pro-freedom, pro-Second Amendment, and pro-crypto. Visit oldglorybank.com/RAV today, oldglorybank.com/RAV today, and join the right side of banking. And I would bet you could scan that code right there, and that'll probably take you right to it, oldglorybank.com/RAV, and sign up with Old Glory Bank. And I can't encourage you enough to do this because I know I've talked to Mike Ring, and he seems fantastic. And boy, that boy gets fired up about the issues when he goes out there. Especially about the debanking of Americans and conservatives specifically. As, like I said, Vin has lived through, we've lived through. So go to oldglorybank.com/RAV, oldglorybank.com/RAV, and join the right side of banking with our friends at Old Glory Bank. All right, 18 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some sports. 18 past the hour. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use if you want to shop at MyPillow. It'll give you a great savings if you use our code at checkout. Sometimes up to 50, 60% off whatever you put in your cart. If you want sheets or pillows or towels or, all the stuff I got from my son for college, he just loves. The bed, he said, is so comfortable. And college beds and mattresses, as you can imagine, are not that comfortable.
It's a barracks.
He says the mattress topper and the other thing we got are just... So that's great. So, Slick, what's going on?
All right, let's get an update on Thursday Night Football. Big D, State Farm Stadium, Glendale, Arizona. Big game tonight. Seattle continues to lead 7-3, a low-scoring defensive struggle. Actually, both quarterbacks. Sam Darnold, 5 of 6 for only 78 yards. He does have a touchdown pass. And Kyler Murray, only 64 yards passing, 10 of 16 with an interception. So 7-3, about a 5:35 to go in the first half. We'll keep you updated on that. Thursday Night Football. I'll get to some baseball scores a little bit later, but wanted to get to this story. The Democrats are so bad, CNN is comparing them to the New Orleans Saints. Now, we know the Saints are having a horrible year if you watch any football. And this is Warner Todd Houston at Breitbart. The Democrats are faring so poorly in recent polling that CNN political analysts are comparing them to the New Orleans Saints. So far, the Saints have lost all 3 of their games this season, and the team seems to be in total disarray. The team's preseason was only marginally better with 2 losses and a tie. And their next game is against the Buffalo Bills, so we know what's going to happen there, right? Which has the opposite record, having won all 3 of their games to date. It looks like the Saints are facing trouble before even setting foot on the field on Sunday. So with the Democrat Party being so low in the polls, lacking leadership and groaning under one unforced error after another, CNN has stepped in to note that the Democrats are the saints of politics. On Wednesday, CNN numbers analyst, our friend there, Harry Anton, used the Saints as a negative description for the Democrats. He told the cable audience which party the polls indicate is most trusted on the issues. And as it turns out, the GOP is most trusted on nearly everything. I think we were in that the other night, the clips, right? Anton pointed out that Democrats are running around all elated for the 2025 midterms because Donald Trump is not exactly the most popular president in history. But Anton says that does not matter. At this particular point, the Democrats are the New Orleans Saints of political parties. He said, as he pointed out, the GOP is most favored on the economy, +7, immigration, +13, and crime, a whopping 22 points. That is a blow to the heart of any Saints fan, not to mention the Democrats. I'd be a little annoyed if I was a Saints fan being compared to the Democrats, but that is what it is. But I thought that was a great little piece there. But we love Harry Anton. Of course, he's doing a great job there over at CNN. I don't know how much longer he's going to have his job. We don't know. And one more quick one, Big D. Charlie Kirk's former chief of staff fires back at Mets announcer over remarks about player attending the memorial. I reported on this story actually the last 2 nights. Ryan Gatos of Fox News. Mikey McCoy, who, by the way, did a phenomenal speech on Sunday. I loved his speech. Charlie Kirk's former chief of staff slammed New York Mets announcer Gary Cohen over critical remarks the broadcaster made about the Chicago Cubs rookie Matt Shaw attending the Conservative Influences Memorial Service. McCoy on Thursday posted a video of Kirk walking onto Wrigley Field back in August. He wrote that it was a dream come true for Kirk, who was a big fan of the Cubbies, but as Cohen called Shaw's absence from Chicago's lineup weird, he thought about a ton of backlash. A little over a month ago, Charlie's dream came true. He got the opportunity to walk on Wrigley Field and after see his friend Matt Shaw.
Cohen's a creep.
Absolute creep.
Just a creep.
And it's just, you know obviously.
I was reminded, Slick, I'm sorry to cut your story off, but I saw this today. I was just thinking, Gary Cohen, and there's nobody who loves dogs more than I do. But Gary Cohen took like 2 games off from announcing when his dog unfortunately passed away, which, by the way, is fine with me.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
That pain is like no other.
Right.
But if you're going to do that, and now you have a player who's saying, this was one of my best friends whose wife invited me.
Right. Good point.
To go on the air and make it somehow that's strange. Gary Cohen didn't think it was strange back when George Floyd died, when both the Mets and whoever they played that night all came out of the dugout and took a knee on the field and then forfeited the game. I'll bet people don't even remember that.
I forgot about that.
Gary Cohen had no problem with it. Not a word, not an article, not a nothing.
Disgraceful.
But here you have, it's so beyond words to describe how insensitive and gross it is for Gary Cohen to make it like the playoff run is more important somehow.
They already clinched the spot.
It's not even that,
it was a joke.
Like, are you kidding me?
That's how foggy their brains get with this Trump derangement syndrome. And they had that with Charlie, too. This derangement makes them do the dumbest stuff and the most hypocritical stuff.
Yep.
Shame on Gary Cohen.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to be rooting for the Cubs. If the Reds don't get in and they're still on the cusp of it, I'm going to be rooting for the Cubs.
one
for
reason to
Charlie
root for 'em.
and for Matt Shaw. That's going to be my team. I'm going to ride that horse. Sorry, Rick. I know you love the Yankees, but I'm going to root for the Cubbies, which they could use a World Series. Chicago needs some good news. That's a wrap in sports.
Well, Gary Cohen's the voice of the Mets, right?
Yeah, I know that, but I'm going to be rooting for the Cubs.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see. I'm no offense to Rick because he's a Yankee fan, but
if the Mets with a $400 million payroll and they picked up one of the great players in at least the last 5-10 years of baseball in Soto, don't make the playoffs, it's the greatest single collapse in maybe baseball history if they don't make the playoffs, this team.
It's the greatest tank, Frank.
It's embarrassing, and he's embarrassing, by the way.
And Frank's tanking.
Same with the Detroit Tigers, by the way, who held a 15-game lead about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and now they're in second place.
They may not even get in.
They may not. They may not get in.
Yep.
They were the best team in baseball for most of the season.
Right.
A couple other rich, very rich things on the Comey thing tonight. Remember when Martha Stewart went to jail?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Insider
Martha
trading.
Stewart went to jail on a 1001 violation. Exactly the same charge that Comey's charged with tonight. Well, you know, the internet lives forever. When Martha Stewart went to jail, guess who put this statement out? The Stewart experience reminded me that the justice system is an honor system. We really can't always tell when people are lying or hiding documents, so when we are able to prove it, we simply must do so as a message to everyone. There was once a time when most people worried about going to hell if they violated an oath taken in the name of God. That divine deterrence has slipped away from our modern cultures. In its place, people must fear going to jail. They must fear their lives being turned upside down. They must fear their pictures splashed on newspapers and websites. People must fear having their name forever associated with a criminal act if we are to have a nation with a rule of law. Martha Stewart lied blatantly in the justice system. To protect the institution of justice and reinforce a culture of truth-telling, she had to be prosecuted. I am very confident that should the circumstance arise, Martha Stewart would not lie to a federal investigator again. Guess whose words those are? Mr. 1001 violation himself tonight. All right, live from Studio 6B. More headlines with Delgado, more news with Vinnie Mac. All coming up.
How'd you find it? Was it just someone posted it? Because that's got to be shared. We got to get that out into the world, just to show what a complete buffoon and hypocrite James Comey is. Even when he's walking along the beach and stumbling upon a shell formation.
Oh, flag.
And Martha Stewart, by the way, did hard time, right? She went to a real jail, didn't she? Wasn't like
Connecticut, right?
Is there such a thing as a real jail in Connecticut?
Diane Gardner, Big D, says, great job finding that.
Oh, the Islanders just tied it up 4-4.
Dun, 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 dun.
Islanders come back down 4-1.
Did you, you ever driving with the horn, beeping your horn that way?
I remember being on the Meadowbrook Parkway. Merrick Road.
Yeah.
Hempstead Turnpike.
Me too.
83, I'll never forget it.
So good, so good. I was there, man. I was at the parades and everything else.
You're down 4-1. You tied it up 4-4. I know it's preseason, but we'll take it.
Dun, 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 dun.
Remember the guy with the cowbell?
Yeah.
My parrot does that when the Islanders come on. Starts doing that noise.
I miss the Coliseum,
There's nothing like it.
UBS is great. When we finally go to a game this year, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
It is. It's fantastic.
Doesn't have the same acoustics, though. I mean, the Coliseum had to be like this.
Coliseum, people were afraid to play there.
Blow up.
Yeah. It was it was loud.
That was wild. I love that place, too. Oh, my heart. Top 3 moments of my life in that place. Out of the top 10, 3 of them happened there. 3 of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very, very,
one of them
very
is the
cool.
Islanders. One of them is the New York Nets, and one of them is Prince. 3 great
The
moments
Nets.
in my life.
A Dr. J comeback.
Yeah, they won the
winning
NBA championship. There. I was there
against Kentucky.
No, they were in '74 when they beat Salt Lake City. '76 they might have beat Kentucky, but '74 I was there when they beat Salt Lake City.
People don't realize, they know how great Dr. J was, but if you watched him in the ABA days, that was one of the most amazing performances in the years he played for the Nets in the ABA. He was unbelievable.
Kyle Palmieri makes it 5-4 Islanders over.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Real America's Voice all across the country. Glad you're in. Slick's doing sports. Rick Delgado's going to do some more headlines. Vinnie Mac has some more news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down. And we'll do a couple more things on the Comey indictment today. We'll try to get to a couple other headlines before we wrap up. But right now, please welcome back to the show one of our favorite people. He's the Chief Scientific Officer over at the Wellness Company, and that is Dr. Peter McCullough. Dr. McCullough, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to have you on. Interesting day to have you on. Ivermectin back in the news. And, of course, it's something we've talked about a lot here. Obviously, a lot of people have become very familiar with ivermectin, obviously, through COVID. And, obviously, you've been on the show and talked about it as far as parasite cleanses. And now promise with cancer treatment is out there. And yesterday, I believe it was, the First Lady of Florida, Casey DeSantis, Ron DeSantis' wife, said that she made an announcement of a $60 million cancer innovation fund. And she says in a part, will support research into the benefits of repurposing genetics like ivermectin to fight cancer. And we understand that ivermectin cream is now also being talked about to be using in a variety of skin problems. Talk to us about all of this.
This should happen. We went through a pandemic. It's almost like going through a space program. There should be spin-offs. And ivermectin was probably the best spin-off of the pandemic. Very useful drug. Originally an antiparasitic. I used it prior to the pandemic largely to treat scabies, but now it's antiviral. And I think of great interest are the preclinical studies showing it's anti-neoplastic. And recently announced UCLA and Cedars-Sinai in LA are launching a big cancer clinical trial of ivermectin in a variety of solid organ cancers. So ivermectin mebendazole is offered by the Wellness Company. It's certainly fine to use it off-label. We're studying the use, by the way, when people sign up. But people are adding this to their cancer chemotherapy regimens right now and to radiation therapy and other treatment. Because, if somebody has cancer, who wants to wait when the drugs are this safe and this available?
Absolutely. That's the first thing people always say when you have it. Most people, first reaction is, I just get it out of my body as quickly as possible. And, of course, as we know, the traditional methods of chemo and things like that are it's like breaking eggs with hammers. It gets the job done, but there's a lot of collateral damage. So studies like this are obviously really, really important. Specifically to the cream application, are there any side effects to something like that?
No, unless there's some hypersensitivity to it itself. Actually, I prescribed it today for a patient. There's a whole variety of spike protein or post-vaccine or post-COVID syndromes now, cutaneous syndromes where the spike protein may play a role. It's previously on the market called Sulantra, topical ivermectin 0.5 and then 1% cream. But it is FDA approved to treat acne. And I think a lot of people who have that kind of deeper pitting acne are looking for some solutions. And Wellness Company now offers topical ivermectin. And so here we go again. One of the safest drugs known to mankind is having multiple applications.
We're speaking with Dr. Peter McCullough. He's the Chief Scientific Officer at the Wellness Company. You can go to twc.health/voice, twc.health/voice, to pick up one of their prescription kits with ivermectin. I mean, we know the answer to this, but I guess it's a kind of a two-parter. Do you think the medical establishment's ever going to come around to ivermectin and admit that they were wrong in trying to ban it and trying to shadow ban it and everything they tried to do with CVSs and pharmacists? Why do you think they've been so... I don't know. Why do you think they haven't come around yet on it? Or is it just the obvious because it's too cheap and too effective and it doesn't fit their narrative?
Well, I mean, so many would have to admit they were wrong on it, including the FDA, major academic medical centers. Now, my patients with cancer who are using it, I ask them to run this by their cancer doctors. And right now it's about 50-50. About half the doctors say, hey, give it a shot. Why not? And the other 50% are just, they just bristle at hearing the word ivermectin. Pharmacies still won't prescribe it, so you have to go to the wellness company or local compounding pharmacies. And recently, Amazon opened up prescription drugs. They said off the bat, they're not offering ivermectin.
Yeah, amazing. Well, obviously, as the weather turns, we head into fall now. We're in fall, and then we head into winter. Obviously, eventually we get to flu season. I mean, it's seemingly every year. I feel like the CDC reports this is going to be the worst flu season ever. Obviously, we know the flu shot is pretty ineffective on the different strains. What's your advice to people? We still have a couple months away, but what's your advice as we head into flu season for people this year?
The flu shots in the last several years have been terrible. They've been statistically insignificant from zero in terms of efficacy. And now a big Cleveland Clinic study from Shweta and colleagues show if you take the flu shot, you're more likely to get the flu. It backfires just like so many people think. So I'm not advising the flu shot at all for people. I quit taking them in 2021. I was getting colds all the time. I'm so glad I stopped. And, Wellness Company has wonderful treatments for influenza. The chances of any one of us getting flu is way less than 1%. You just have to be ready with one of the black emergency medical kits and start treatment on day one. You'll do fine.
Dr. Peter McCullough, he's the Chief Scientific Officer at the Wellness Company. Again, you can go to twc.health/voice to pick up any of the kits that Dr. McCullough spoke of, and they have many, all great. twc.health/voice. You can use promo code VOICE to save, I think, additional 10% at checkout. Dr. McCullough, always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, live from Studio 6B, 36 past the hour. Let's do some more heads. He's great. I mean, how great is Dr. McCullough? Huh?
I want to say something about this Dr. McCullough.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're just going to say he's great. He is fantastic. I have seen so many videos of him. Yeah. He was actually who I was quoting, talking about how Fauci lied to Trump, how Pfizer lied to him. They told Trump that they had a vaccine. It wasn't a vaccine. And Fauci lying, one of the things he talks about is if Fauci told the truth, they would have had the genetic code of COVID and been able to actually create a real vaccine, understanding that code. Instead, they had this vaccine they came out with, which they already had, was already created. This was why it happened so fast. They all lied to the president of the United States. Dr. McCullough talks about this. He's amazing. He needs to get more notoriety. He needs to be all over TV as much as possible.
I mean, he is. He has a lot now, but because he really put himself on the line. He changed his whole, I believe by trade, don't quote me, I believe he's a heart surgeon. I believe he was in the cardiac heart realm, I think. But kind of changed his whole thing, came up with this way to treat COVID very, very early on.
Yep.
It came out with the nasal stuff very early on to say, there's a lot of other things here. We're making decisions on really bad data. And a lot of what I'm saying, he was very early on. He's fantastic. And there's many like him that really put their reputation on the line and talked about this stuff and pushed this stuff when they were being called kooks and everything else, and crazy people, and they should be banned and lose their medical license and everything else. They really were up against it. So, no, he's fantastic, and he's been right. So, all right, let's do some more headline news. Rick Delgado's got it. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, the greatest headlines in the world, Damon. Let's get to some of them. Of course, there's one in particular that I'm going to follow up with, which is, of course, the story. We started talking about it. You made light of it last night at the end of the show. The U.S. Secret Service dismantling a significant telecommunications network in the New York area that posed an imminent threat to government officials. and public safety, particularly during the UN General Assembly. I've got a couple clips here from one of the guys at the Secret Service, their public service guy, cut number 8. Here he is making a statement on dismantling that network. And his last name is McCool, and he strikes you as a pretty cool cat or a very cold cat, depending on how you read the way he makes this description. Cut number 8. Check this out.
Hello, my name is Matt McCool, and I'm the special agent in charge of the Secret Service New York field office. We are making this announcement as a matter of public interest, given timing, amount, and concentration of material recovered during a recent Secret Service Protective Intelligence investigation. Following multiple telecommunications-related imminent threats directed towards senior U.S. government officials this spring, the U.S. Secret Service began a protective intelligence investigation to determine the extent and impact these threats could have on protective operations. This was a difficult and complex effort to identify the source of these fraudulent calls and the impact on the Secret Service protective mission. The investigation led us to the New York tri-state area, where investigators discovered tens of thousands of co-located and networked cellular devices capable of carrying out nefarious telecommunications attacks. These devices allowed anonymous encrypted communications between potential threat actors and criminal enterprises, enabling criminal organizations to operate undetected. This network had the potential to disable cell phone towers and essentially shut down the cellular network in New York City.
Yeah, so a pretty big threat. The network was capable of conducting various telecommunications threats, as he mentioned, disabling cell phone towers, facilitating anonymous communications among criminal enterprises and nation-state actors. The investigation, again, as he mentioned, was triggered by threats that were directed at senior U.S. officials earlier this spring, indicating a serious risk of agency protective operations. So they started looking into this. Here he is continuing on about what they found, cut number 9, on the network and the devices of the investigation that they found, cut 9.
To be clear, these recovered devices no longer pose a threat to the New York tri-state area. We will continue working towards identifying those responsible and their intent, including whether their plan was to disrupt the UN General Assembly and communications of government and emergency personnel during the official visit of world leaders in and around New York City. Forensic examinations of the equivalent of 100,000 cell phones worth of data is underway. Early analysis indicates cellular communications between foreign actors and individuals that are known to federal law enforcement.
Yeah, so there it is.
He just said it, but I was just going to say the numbers are staggering. 300 co-located SIM servers and 100,000 SIM cards across multiple sites.
Yeah, 30 million text messages per minute that they had the potential overwhelming all the telecommunication systems in that area. Operation highlighting the evolving threats, he says, of the telecommunications infrastructure and the proactive measures that are being taken by the Secret Service to protect national security. So we'll see what as this thing continues. Just an amazing story that, you know, again, Damon, you brought it out last night that not enough people were talking about this. And
maybe they are. I didn't see anybody talking about it.
I didn't see anybody talking about it either.
I had heard about it.
I mean, you talk about all of this in a 35-mile radius around the UN with the ability to send whatever, what did we just say, 30 million text messages a minute.
Yep.
Wow.
Cyber-enabled fraud, telephone abuse, robocalls, all of that kind of crazy stuff.
And
on that scale, sounds like almost like a test run for something maybe even bigger.
Yeah.
Like what were they doing?
Well, it sounds like the test run happened in the spring against those U.S. officials. That's what tripped them up and kind of alerted the Secret Service as to what the heck's going on here. So kind of amazing stuff that's going to continue to evolve. We'll stay on this story, find out what else is coming out from it. I do have stuff regarding President Trump. Today he's signing the deal with TikTok. We'll get to that later, as well as his thoughts on Jazzy Crockett.
All right, we'll get to all of that. Vin and sports. We'll wrap it up for a Thursday night right after this.
Now he's celebrating again.
Now it's like the Stanley Cup Finals.
This is your cup final.
Islander goal! Islander goal!
What's going on, chat? What's going on in chat? Come on. What's in the? Oh, we had a super chat. Hold on, I got an LSU Patriot sent us a super chat, but I snapped
Let's see what we got here.
I snapped the shot there. LSU Patriot, Big D, $20. Watch the Martha Stewart documentary. There's a whole part about Comey. He used identical tactics when he went after her as he did on Trump. Made the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Wow.
Definite pattern of behavior. Insane in capital letters. So thank you, LSU Patriot.
By the way, Damon, I texted you a clip of Comey. I think it was the first day or second day of Biden's.
Yeah, it's already on our.
Okay.
It's already on our timeline.
Okay. He didn't sound like a fair arbiter of the law then. He wanted President Trump thrown in jail.
Michael McGuire says, I'll be 71 on Saturday and haven't had a cold or flu for 10 years since I stopped getting the flu shot. Wow. Amazing, huh? I've resisted it myself. I never go get that thing.
Are we doing the odds maker tomorrow night, Big D? I know you're out of town, right? You're out tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Okay, we still on for odds makers tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Okay. We do?
We do.
Okay.
Who's that?
Eddie.
Eddie.
Eddie Brown.
Coming to town.
How you doing, Eddie?
Downtown Eddie Brown.
Delgado Matt Mills wants to know when's the next What Even Is That?
Well,
Are you going to make an announcement one of these days?
It'll be next week.
Really?
Oh,
It's coming back.
Delgado, that was a newsbreaker.
What's been the holdup exactly?
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
Started with the teleprompter.
You were out last week.
Let me see.
Oh, it's my fault. Gotcha.
3 days.
No, never yet.
Then the week before that,
I was going to blame Damon.
A certain.
Obviously
horrific-
not appropriate in the last.
Right.
Yes, we get that.
No, there's really nothing to cover. Yeah.
Who's that? The penguin from Batman?
That's Richard Belzer. Remember Belzer on Howard Stern? Yeah, right. Here. Yeah, right. I used to love that guy. He was funny for a while. Then he stopped being funny.
He became a cop.
D. Lavaca on X. I've looked for your video, but I don't know. We have too many messages, I guess, for me to find it because I don't see it.
Uh-oh.
Aaron, is there a mic open or something? I'm getting weird sounds in my headphones.
Oh,
just echoing.
I thought it was my stomach.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B. Before we wrap it up here on a Thursday night, we'll try to get to everybody here. Vin, I'll start with you. What else is on your radar?
Yeah, Elon Musk is back in the news. Apparently they made a deal today with the Trump administration using Elon's AI technology to help the government innovate, create things, be more efficient, and so on. I'm just, you know how I feel about Elon. I think I've been pretty vocal about it. I'm just a huge fan of his. He had a meltdown. He came back, but he's a great value to us as a country, to a society, to a world, and for the Trump administration. So I'm really happy he's back. And he also is ready to launch his new phone to compete against the iPhone, which is going to have a direct connection to the Starlink satellites that he has out there, where we won't have all these cellular contracts or any of these types of things. So Elon's going to create the Tesla of phones, which could be quite interesting. The other thing on my mind, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
How do you gain market share in the cell phone market nowadays?
When you have a brand name, first of all, when you have Elon Musk, that's a brand in itself. When you have a brand in Tesla, that is one way to get them distributed through every Tesla owner. And also, just because of who he is, it's an instant marketing machine. He owns X, one of the biggest social platforms in the world. People are going to know about this. And I guarantee you, he blows the doors off.
That's what I was going to say. Price.
$798 compared to $2,100 for an iPhone. So you can do the math. It has great camera, has all this stuff. And I'm happy. They needed some competition. I'm an iPhone guy. I'm an Apple guy. I love all the Apple products. I've been using them for years. So anyhow, that was in the news and caught my eye. And also today, I believe Marjorie Taylor Greene announced some legislation regarding a Clear Skies Act, she's calling it, which essentially talks about all that weather modification, cloud seeding. And I can tell you the talk that I heard when I was in Sarasota for the last couple of years about all the hurricanes we had there and how cloud seeding might have impacted that. And I know there's probably a purpose for cloud seeding, but there's also a real negative. And I think we might have seen that in on the west coast of Florida. 3 years in a row, destroyed a lot of property. So she's come out with legislation to kind of protect the country about that.
I saw the CEO, I think, of the big one on with Tim Pool. Did you happen to catch that guy?
The cloud seeding guy?
Yeah.
And what do you have to say?
He went back and forth with someone on Tim. I don't know if it was Tim Pool's team. I don't know if the guy was just part of Tim's show or he was his own host. It sounded like he had his own show. I don't know who he was. But they had an interesting back and forth. And I mean, I don't know. The cloud seeding guy sounded way smarter to me. Did you watch it?
I've seen him speak before.
He's no dummy.
He's no dummy.
You can be for it, against it,
Right.
think it's from the devil or whatever. That guy's pretty smart. He makes some very valid points on what they're doing.
Right. But unfortunately, we've seen where, all good intentions, where they end up.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
I'm just
that's
saying
what
the
I
guy's
mean.
no dummy. It doesn't,
It could be quite helpful for areas that don't have rain or areas that need help and those things, and if cloud seeding helps that, but it does create
Florida
other
doesn't need help.
dangers. Florida did not need that, and
No.
I understand they had quite a bit of seeding that might have pushed the hurricanes into another level.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Well, he definitely won that exchange for me, but again, I don't know enough about it. But.
Okay.
All right, Vinnie Mac, very good. Any other headlines, Delgado, you want to hit?
Yeah, real quick. President Trump, here is what he had to say when asked about Jasmine Crockett at the White House today. Cut number 5. Here it is. Trump at the White House on some Democrats, including Jasmine Crockett. Cut 5.
Jasmine Crockett. Remember what I said? Is she a relation to the late, great Davy Crockett? I don't think so. Jasmine Crockett, let me tell you, before you even ask, she's a very low IQ person. I mean, if we ever had to pass an aptitude test, that's the one should take one because she shouldn't even be in the crowd. So I have no idea what you're going to, but I don't think we should waste our time. This is a low IQ person who I can't even believe is a congressperson. Between her and Ilhan Omar and the group. I met the head of Somalia. Did you know that? And I suggested that maybe he'd like to take her back, and he didn't want her. He said, I don't want her. Okay, what else?
I got a deal for you.
There you go. Even Somalia doesn't want Ilhan Omar back.
No, we don't want to talk to her.
Another story we'll dive into a little bit more tomorrow. I'll just give you a quick peek into what I'm looking at here. Recent drone sightings around Denmark, Damon, have raised significant concerns and prompted investigations by authorities. The Danish police and the Civil Aviation Authority have been actively working to identify the drones, sounds like New Jersey happening all over again, understand their origins, and find out who is in control. The sightings have occurred at various airports, including Aalborg and Copenhagen, have led to temporary closure of the airports. The drones have been described as commercial-grade quadcopters operating in formations and violating no-fly zones. So the Danish government is all over this, trying to figure out what's going on. Again, sounds a lot like what was happening last year, just before this time. On the East Coast over New Jersey.
Just like the video you played last week of the supposed UFO that took a Hellfire missile off of it. I don't think it was a UFO. I think it was a drone. And I think all of these drones, if we're being serious for a second, I think the United States is probably practicing some defense in the event of some kind of an attack using them. And I think that's why we saw that missile and that. I actually think that was a drone. And I think it was probably a test, some kind of test practice run on trying to take these things out. And maybe the Danish, maybe they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to find out.
That makes sense.
And last but not least, a real quick 30 seconds for you on follow up on the rapture that didn't happen. Christians have expressed, Damon, disappointment over the rapture not occurring as expected. Some attributed the delay to the unredacted Epstein files, a theory that suggests that God is postponing the rapture until the files are fully disclosed, which has led to a flurry of messages and speculation on social media. So I'll look into more of that for you. I'll have that for you tomorrow.
That's interesting point of view, isn't it? Yes.
So that's
if
why
you
the
think I'm
rapture's not
going
healthy.
down that road after the abuse I took the other night,
No.
I'm going
What?
nowhere near that.
No.
So
You got a lot of abuse over there.
good reporting, Delgado.
Not a
nice
problem.
job. All right, 53 past
Make
the
that
hour.
story disappear.
A couple minutes left here. Let's do a last minute check of the scoreboard. Slickster, brought to you by LFS6B. Yep.
Yes,
brought to
sir.
you by My Pillow. LFS6B is the promo code to use. What's going on, Slick?
Oh, we got some NCAA Division I football, too. East Carolina right now leading Army 21-6, 3:50 to go there in the third. Second half just underway. Seattle continuing to lead the Cardinals 14-3 in the State Farm Stadium there. Seahawks with the ball, and we'll see. Could be a fumble there. We'll see. Oh, look at this turnover. So, that's going to be a good game. I think that's going to go down to the wire. But we're going to win that one, Aaron. Let's get to Major League Baseball. Speaking of meltdowns, how about the Mets? They were up 8-0, and the Cubs have now come back to make it 8-5 in the top of the eighth. I don't even want to see Frank the Tank if the Mets blow that game tonight. That could be an epic rant. And the Yankees are up 5-3 over the White Sox, looking to salt that away. Top of the ninth and the top of the second, Rockies and Mariners, no score. Reds earlier today beat the Pirates 2-1, so that is a tight race in the NL. We'll obviously keep close track on that. And 3 men arrested after Texas baseball coach shot during 20-minute gunfire barrage. This is Bob Price of Breitbart Sports. The Waller County, Texas Sheriff's Office arrested 3 men who allegedly shot a baseball coach during a pregame prayer, according to witnesses. The coach was shot during a barrage of gunfire from a nearby field shortly before the start of a Little League game. Terrible. And this is at a park located northwest of Houston. Houston Warriors founder Andy Bays told KHOU that the coach was saying a pregame prayer when he was struck by gunfire coming from a nearby field. CBS 11 reported witnesses say the gunfire came from 3 men who allegedly were target practicing from 700 yards away.
I don't know about that.
I know. There does not appear to be any gun range or protective berms located on the adjacent pack. So to your point, Big D, that may not be true. So we'll continue to follow up that story. But that's a wrap in sports. I know you got to wrap it up here, Big D. Thank you.
All right, as always, we salute our men. The show went so fast tonight.
It flew.
Holy cow.
I tell you.
As always, we salute our military, active and active police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines protecting us, all our truckers, all our farmers. Thanks, guys, on the show. Aaron, Fran, great job as always. Most of all, thank you, the live from Studio 6B audience. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you tomorrow night live at the America First Warehouse.
Yes.
Enjoy the night. We'll see you then.